Alright, hey YouTube. Thought we would just make a little beginner's guide for some of the newbies coming to the game. Um, yeah, that's really all I wanted. Thought about maybe getting a little Swordburst channel going, see how that goes. Nothing really too big. Anyways, let's get a little started with the little tutorial here. Alright, so for one, obviously you're gonna see the beginner trainer here. Talk to him. You can use these, they're not really important at all. I just recommend getting the quests, and you go from there. All the little people here, NPCs you can call them, have quests of some kind, whether they be story quests, which are one time, or quests like these which can repeat, which I'll show you real quick here. Alright, there. Okay, anyways. Alright, there we go. Anyways, as you can see, you can claim the quest, and then it asks you to repeat. For most of the quests that you want to repeat, I would say nearly, if you can repeat a quest, always repeat it until you get the next quest or unlock it. And whether you're going to keep farming the enemies or not, you never know. You might see a there's like these portals that pop up. I'll show you in the video. And you'll end up farming those sometimes for XP or whatever. But you always want to make sure you're repeating a quest no matter what. And pretty much you just want to start XP farming for the most part. You'll see that most of the mobs, I think actually every single one, no matter what, has some sort of drop. It's not a guaranteed drop, but they do have some sort of drop. You want to make sure you're always picking up the drop and going up. Oh, and there we go, right here. There's a portal. But anyways, no matter what, you always want to make sure that you are picking up the drops. So throughout the entire game, there's these portals. They can spawn anywhere but in the boss rooms of each floor. And pretty much all you do is you stand here, and you would kill whatever spawns out. Usually when you're at the same, like, these are about level 2 to 4, I think. Okay, he's farming them. So you usually at around level, when you're the same level of them, it can be a little difficult. So I do recommend having one or two other people who are about your level, if not higher level than you, to help you do it. And that's about it when it comes to portals. Like I said, you always want to make sure you have a quest going and XP farm. Now then, when it comes to very often asked questions about how to get new weapons and new armors in the game, and to go about getting these new armors and weapons, there are two. At the beginning of the game, there's, I would say, two ways to get them. So if you go to this portal, you'll have floor 1 and New Arcadia unlocked. If you go to New Arcadia, there are stores there that you can technically buy them from, but I believe that the most efficient and recommended way is just to farm the mobs. Every single one of the mobs have some sort of weapon drop. Some of them have armor drops as well. And most of the weapons that you'll buy in Arcadia are dropped by the mobs already. To be honest, most of the weapons you'll buy throughout the game are actually already dropped by some mob. Anyways, besides that, once you're done grinding here or whatever, going about your leveling up or whatever, if you come over here, this is going to be the first mission right here, and it'll be a story quest. I already have it completed. You'll see here. It's this one right here. You just complete that, and it'll clear up this pathway over here. I mean, you probably would have figured that out on your own, but just something that you still should know. Now, there is something else you should know as a beginner. So there's going to be shops along the way in every single floor. No matter what, like I said, every single one has some sort of quest or whatever. Always pick up the new quest that you have, and then go about your day. Whether you're going to farm those for XP, or if you're just going to kind of have it sitting there. Anyways, besides that, it's sometimes while you're farming, because some people like to farm for a while before they move on or whatever, and that's fine. If you're farming, I would recommend sometimes you pay attention to the mounts or whatever. Because, for instance, this one is the wolf or whatever, which are obviously right over there. And some of those, like they sometimes drop this thing called I think it's a wolf tooth or something like that. Yeah, wolf tooth. And pretty much with 10 of those, you can make a mount or whatever, which is something you can ride, and it's faster and more effective to ride around. But obviously, when you're in combat, you're not going to be hopping around, hitting them, hopping around, whatever, whatever. Um, yeah, but I recommend you just pay attention to it. You don't have to make it your general focus, but like maybe you might get really lucky while XP farming a bit. And sometimes I recommend, even if you don't want the mount, if you're close or you can at least get it, I recommend you get it. You can still sell even like a common mount, like a brown bear or any of them. They're not everybody rides. Like remember, everybody's gonna use like some of the same most popular ones, but there's gonna be those odd ones that no one ever rides, but some people still want because they haven't ridden it before. Don't know what it looks like. So I still recommend no matter what, if you're close or if you're farming something, make sure you pay attention to how many you may need because you never know, you may get close. So when you're making your way up this trail, again, for beginners, there is eventually like you're gonna be completing these bear quests and everything like that, but eventually you're gonna come across a quest that tells you need to defeat something called a Hagen. Now, if you're like me and not the brightest, you end up over here, right? Usually you get the Hagen quest I'm talking about from the lady who's gonna be she's all the way over there. You'll see her. But anyways, once you have that Hagen quest, you're gonna have to figure out what is a Hagen. Like where am I going? So pretty much to find the Hagen, what you're gonna do, you're gonna come over here, and you can't you just there's literally just a trail you follow. It's just the trail that leads the opposite way, and you end up here. Now, as you can see, just like well, this is with all basic bosses in the game. They each have a certain drop chance for each of the items there. Something I always recommend to newbies is the rare like materials you find for that floor. Do not be afraid to upgrade your weapons with them. Oh, I didn't want that one. That's crazy. Alright, do not be afraid to use those to upgrade your stuff because the upgrade materials that you get for that floor will only be used for the weapons on that floor. So like once you get to floor 2, floor 3, you're gonna see that you don't use those materials anymore. Like they literally do not work for the stuff that you're using or whatever. Um, Now when it comes to XP farming or grinding, if you are focusing on XP, I don't recommend doing the bosses. You're gonna be wasting your time. I mean, it's still a good idea generally to sometimes get their weapons, like their epic weapons, legendary weapons, or whatever that come with them, because they really will help you early on or whatever, especially because these have such a high drop chance. I highly advise doing this. But like for the later floors, sometimes they're like a 1% or 10% or something like that. It's not worth it all the time to keep grinding for a weapon if you can't get the weapon. Especially when your goal is to get XP. And most of the weapons, I won't lie, they all have like most of the weapons you they get outclassed relatively fast. For instance, in the weapons here, once you get about 5 to 10 levels higher, whether it's on the same floor or a different floor, the weapons are gonna outclass them. Obviously, if you upgrade them, it may be a different case, but then that's the same thing with the weapon that you just got. Sometimes you'll have a better weapon. All right, let me kill this for him. All right, but sometimes you'll get a better weapon or whatever. Oh, see, look, I got a drop. But anyways, sometimes you'll get a better weapon that you can already upgrade and then watch. Now that's better than the old weapon you got. So that's why I don't recommend grinding them out because, like I said, it's not really the greatest in terms of XP. But for better items and newer items and items that can carry you for a decent bit, I still recommend getting them. Like I said, especially for this mini boss specifically, because it's free. It's free loot. It's 22 and 20, 25. Like you can't mess up. Anyways, moving on. So after you're done with the Hagen or whatever, you're gonna go back over there, talk to that lady, whatever, and then go from there. Now for the rest of this part of the game, you should be pretty set. We're gonna actually teleport a bit ahead here. Okay. Don't. Oh man, I hate this floor when it comes to like the spawns. The spawns are so odd. They're not like the same, you know. So, anyways, um, pretty much, if you want the direct way to the boss, I'll show you it right now. We'll zoom this up a bit here.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined.
Alright, now here's where you enter the boss room. Now, for every single floor, you're not going to be able to immediately have these doors open. There's a mission quest or whatever that you'll have to get done. Something I should have mentioned very early on is that for each of the quests, as you'll come to realize, they all have a you have to be a certain level to get them done. So like some will say level 3, level 5, or whatever. Like you have to be a certain level to accept the quests. After you, for the repeatable ones, it doesn't matter. After you get the level for it, you don't have to keep trying to re-hit a different level. You can repeat it as many times as you like. But once you get the quest, you're just gonna complete whatever it says to do. Then bam, you got the boss. Now, when it comes to the boss gear, we'll head over there now. Obvious spoiler warning for anybody who likes spoilers for the boss or whatever, doesn't want to be spoiled for it. Um, you know, actually, I won't enter there. I'll just tell you guys. So, for the boss loot, every boss has their own unique loot. That loot will not drop anywhere else on any other floor. It only dropped by that boss with their own drop chances. After you kill the boss, you don't necessarily need to kill it, but you do need to do a certain amount of damage. So you technically could have someone who's much higher level beat the boss for you, but you have to do at least a certain amount of damage to it before it just technically you beat it. I mean, so like you still have to kill it regardless. Somebody has to kill it, but you have to, if you're gonna get carried by someone, you need to make sure you're doing a certain amount of damage before it just have them auto kill it. Anyways, after you kill the boss, you can there's another one of those portal entry marks, and you can really just jump to the next floor if you want to. Now, when it comes to boss drops, this is all personal preference. The boss drops for every single floor, when it comes to the weapons at least, I don't know about as much as armor, because I'm not gonna lie, my luck was not there when I was grinding up. But when it comes to armor, you could grind for that, but it's not what I usually go for. I recommend always going for one of the weapons that the boss drops, and once you get one of them, upgrade them. They quite literally, if you don't have the materials from them, some of them drop on the floor above it, which obviously if you beat the boss, you'll be able to go to the next floor, so you can get the materials from that floor. But I recommend upgrading it, and it can carry you to, I would say, about halfway through that floor. Like, yeah, you'll get weapons along the way, but their base stats compared to the boss's base stats are much lower until about halfway through the floor, and that's when the base stats are normally better in general, even if the weapon is upgraded or not. So, I mean, like I said, it's down to personal preference. As I said earlier in the video, you can farm the enemies or mobs or whatever, because some of them drop weapons, or kill, like I said, kill the boss, get their weapon, and if you get it, it carries you, like I said, about halfway through the floor. Um, so after, like I said, after that, like this is now, here's your spoiler warning if you want to skip part of the video. Um, After you enter here, as you can see, I mean, it's actually pretty empty this time. I'm not gonna try to beat the boss right now. But you do see each of the bosses have their nice little drop chance right there, like earlier. And then you see a nice little portal over here. After that, you'll have your floor 2 unlocked. You can just teleport. Now, going back to what I said earlier, you can also go to New Arcadia to get some stuff from either other players from or from the you can go to New Arcadia to get stuff from, as you can see, I'm here now. You can get stuff from other players. As you see, there's a lot of people buying, selling stuff from other floors. Level 40 gear, level 51, 56. Or, I mean, I don't think it's going to work since I'm high level in this case, but, you know, if you're level 20, 10, 3, whatever, you could just be like, hey, does anyone have any said so-and-so gear or whatever for, whatever, such and such level. That way, some players like me are very gifting, and they'll just give it to you. Sometimes they might charge you some bill. I mean, not really, but sometimes some of them do. And you just give it. They'll give it to you, and then you have that or whatever. Um, Other times, let's say you don't want to buy it off of someone else, or you don't see anything there you may like. And again, most of the stuff that people are selling, you can get from elsewhere. It just depends. Sometimes you want better rolls, but we'll talk about that another time. As you can see, we got Bronze Blade, Sky Prince, Advocate, Orange Armor, and there's NPCs throughout here, but you don't really need to talk to them. I think they have some lore significance or something. I don't really know. I haven't looked into it personally. But as you can see, for the lower levels here, we have a nice little beginner shop here. If you really are having trouble getting drops, you can buy them 500 coins, or Vel, I mean 300 Vel, and it goes from there. It's pretty, like I said, it's pretty cheap and inexpensive, but I still recommend getting them from mobs. Like, you're gonna get XP, you get weapons, sometimes armor. Like, it's the best of every world. Um, but yeah, so after you're done doing all this, you'll be already on your way to floor 2 or whatever. Now, the other thing we should know is about the upgrade system in this game. So as you can see, right? Did I buy this by accident? Maybe I did. So you'll see that every weapon in the game needs some sort of resource to upgrade. All of them are required from their own floors, or you can dismantle other items, as I'll show you right now. Don't mess with that. You can dismantle some of them, and it gives you the items. It goes right into your nice little materials here. Bam. So, anyways, when it comes to upgrading items, all you do, bam, hit upgrade. Now, as you can upgrade every item in this game, weapon, armor, whatever. Well, except animals, obviously. Pets are their own thing. You can upgrade any armor, weapon up to 10 times. The more you upgrade it, as you see, it has a lower success rate. The cost, no matter what, stays the same, but the success rate will continue to go down and down. Now, I'm hoping to show you what happens if you fail. Okay, so as you can see, if you purchase or whatever and it fails, it goes down a level. The success rate goes back up to what the previous success rate was. So like, it was 68% before, then we upgraded it to level 7. And then you see we failed the level 7 upgrade, so or level 8 upgrade, so it brought us down to level 6. Now the coins and the materials that you used, no matter what, will never ever come back. So whatever you use, sometimes you might be trying to get a weapon to level 10, and you may have limited resources. If you have limited resources, sometimes you might end up being stuck at a level 8, maybe level 7, just because you got unlucky. Um, now then, um, enchanting. These are not only in Arcadia, by the way. These are also in most of the main places, but I come to Arcadia because sometimes you have to find them or whatever. And yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun. So as you can see, there's a resource you need. It's usually pure, and then whatever the main resource is for it. Every floor has their own thing. So like this needs pure jade, this needs pure quartz. Every floor has their own thing to it. Um, as you can see, when it'll have a cost and it'll take up the resource, just like crafting. You enchant it, and it comes with a random enchant. The more you have it, the more you can roll it. The cost will always remain the same, and that's about it to enchanting. Now then, when it comes to the best perks, usually in terms of enchanting, I personally think crit is usually the best. But if you're not getting crit, then crit damage, burst power, spree gen, all four are still pretty good. Spree gen, you get your abilities back faster. Crit, obviously higher crit chance. Burst power, if I'm not mistaken, that's like the actual damage of your abilities, if I'm not mistaken. And then crit damage is obviously the damage that you hit when you get a crit. But I think those four are still pretty powerful, pretty good in my opinion. Obviously, if you like movement speed or max HP or attack or everything else, that's fine. Everybody enjoys the game their own way, but I just think those four are the best. I should have explained this earlier, but there's also these portals, not just in Arcadia, but on every floor as well. Make sure if you see them and it's gray that you light it up. It'll be a little animation and everything. You'll understand it. You just hold E and it'll light it up, and then it'll set a waymark. When you use the waymark, you can teleport between all the ones you have activated and go from there. Um, like I said, I recommend you do this earlier rather than later because let's say you die, it'll reset you to a different waymark or whatever, or waystone that you either like that you obviously had, on or whatever, or activated. So make sure you're activating them as you go along if you see them. That way you don't get reset pretty far and then you gotta run all the way back. So it's a nuisance. It's annoying. It's not something you want to do. Also, as you can see, that whatever quests that you have will always stay activated. All the progress, even if you switch between floors, will stay on that quest till you either replace it or complete it. That's just how it goes. Now besides that, like I said, there's you see the nice little mount guy over here, and that should be everything. Um, yeah, but I appreciate you guys for watching, and probably drop another video about trading to try to help out some newbies get their first ore or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But thank you guys for watching.